sustainer and cherisher. And we send endless greetings of love, blessings and peace upon the master of mankind, the very best of creation. He is, of course, Muhammad Mustafa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my beloved brothers and sisters, listeners of Ramadan FM. How are you? Welcome. Khush Amdeed. Marhaba. Ahlan wa sahlan. Willkommen. Bienvenue. Karibu. And welcome to the very last drive time of this Ramadan. We've just heard news that the moon has been sighted in Arabia and Eid will be celebrated tomorrow, inshallah. If you're doing Eid tomorrow, Eid Mubarak. And if you're doing Eid on Saturday, Eid Mubarak for Saturday. So I hope it's gone really well. I hope you've enjoyed the sunny weather today. Kids coming home from school right now, probably on your way home from work, going to get in the kitchen, do some baking, do all the Eid preps. But listen, before I introduce today's guest, I just want to say a big, massive thank you to everyone who has contributed to Drive Time this year. It's been fantastic. The listeners cannot have done it without you. You make the show, and especially our guests. And I'm going to give a big shout out to them a bit later on. But our special and final guest this afternoon is the frozen foods samosa supremo and champion of the chapli kebab. From a homegrown startup to one of the leading frozen food brands, he is a Muslim business success story, and he's come all the way from Preston in the northwest of England today to be here on Ramadan FM Drive Time. I am delighted to welcome brother Nadeem Ayyub. Assalamu alaikum, Nadeem.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming all the way. That's 2 in 2 days from the northwest.
Yeah, Khalil was here yesterday, wasn't he?
He was, yes. So for those who don't know, we had Khalil Bukhari on yesterday, and you're Khalil's brother-in-law, right?
Correct, yeah.
Fantastic. So a bit of a family affair going on here on Ramadan. But twice in 2 days, I feel really honoured. I feel really, really honoured that you've come all this way to talk about entrepreneurship and your business on Drive Time. So Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much. First of all, how are you? How's your Ramadan been?
Alhamdulillah, really good. It's just flown by.
I mean, as sort of the leading frozen food brand, halal frozen food brand here in the UK, must have been super busy, right?
It was mad busy. It was, alhamdulillah, this year was one of our record years, so it was really good. And it's growing, so it's a great time to be in the business here.
Who knew that spring rolls would be so profitable, right?
Samosas, yeah.
Samosas.
Yeah, who knew?
Okay, so you are the CEO or the director of Rockcliffe Group,
Correct, yeah.
which has a number of brands underneath it, one of them being Zuleika Frozen Foods. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the whole frozen food industry and why you chose to do it.
Well, it actually started from my mother. She's the one that started it with my father. They're the one that started the business initially. It started off just from a bet from my father to say, right, go on then. My mum bought some samosas and kebabs and whatever from shops, and the quality wasn't great. She didn't like it. She goes, and my father said, okay, you can do it, show me. And
really?
Yeah, that's it. It started from that. And at that time, I wasn't even living in the UK. I was living out of the UK. And they just literally got a polystyrene tray, put 5-6 samosas in, wrapped them in cling film, printed a label off, and sold them shop to shop, just little shops. And that's how it started off. We started off from our home kitchen and became the #1 UK halal brand.
Mashallah. So a lot of businesses started out as homegrown from the kitchen. You know, we have many Asian like pataks and a lot of these like chutney and sauce people. Yeah. They started off, just cooking and then selling to the local stores, corner shops, whatever it was. And then they grew into these big businesses. And alhamdulillah, I'm really happy to see that you've followed this path and you're now a leading halal frozen foods supplier. Has food always been a passion for you?
Oh, yes. I mean,
for Asians generally, food is a big thing, but to make it into a business,
it is. You see, everybody loves food, and the thing is that everybody has different tastes as well. So you might like steaks, for example.
Yeah.
Some people like really well done, some like medium rare. So everybody's got different taste. So the market there is really huge, and I personally love going out to different types of restaurants, eating different foods. Japanese food, Chinese food, Italian, whatever it is, and I love to experiment. And I guess that's where our passion comes from. That's how we've been successful in our food businesses, because we take on what we like and distribute that into the nation.
Okay. So you mentioned about your mum buying some samosas back. I know how many years ago it was. Not
20 plus years now. Yeah.
Not great. And I remember growing up as a child here in Leicester, and growing up on a council estate, and you wanted to eat what English people ate.
Yeah.
essentially,
100%,
right?
yes.
And things like, halal sausages, halal beef burgers, those kind of things that were served in school meals,
Yeah.
we would never be able to eat. And I remember there was only like, I think 1 or 2 places here in Leicester, I think from butcher shop mainly, they sold frozen sausages or frozen burgers. And I got really excited and Mum bought them. And the 2 things I remember distinctly from them. First of all, when she cooked them, the house would smell for like a week because the fat would just be lingering. You'd be there with the oud and the air fresheners and everything. It just wouldn't go. But it was just full of like rusk and proteins, and the quality of the actual product wasn't great. It felt like, okay, there's a market for halal. We'll just bung any old rubbish out and they'll buy it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case?
It's changed drastically from what it was 20 odd years ago. I mean, now we're all gym goers, not health freaks, but health
conscious, definitely.
We're definitely health conscious. We know about calories intakes, we know about protein takes. So we all this goes into developing our products. So we can't. Our philosophy for our brand Zuleika is simple: is that manufacture, make what you'll eat at your own house. So all our products we eat in our own house, our kids eat it. So the whole philosophy is, if it's good enough for us, that's the only time we'll manufacture it and sell it on. And the market has taken to that, and they appreciate that. Like you just said, you buy a burger, before cook it, it'd shrink to something size of a 10 pence, well, not 10 pence, but something really small. Everybody knows what it is now, what they're eating. They're very savvy, so you can't pull the wool over anybody's eyes. And when they eat something good, boy, do they become a fan of your product then. And they promote it. That's the beauty of our community is that we will promote anything that's really good.
Because I'm just guessing, right? Sort of some of the mothers that they'll tell their friends, "Oh, have you tried this?
Exactly,
it's really good."
Yeah, 100%. The word of mouth that spreads for good products is amazing, and especially now with the social media, it's phenomenal right now. How you can grow your brand, how something great that comes out can spread really fast, and we find that with shopkeepers as well. So what they'll do is it's all a big small community as well. We're as big as we are. It's all a tight-knit community. Then they'll speak to each other, and we find people then calling us and saying, "Look, I've seen your brand here. Can you help us? Can you support us? Can you supply us with the stock?" So from that, you just get your organic growth. Okay. And that's our philosophy. That's how we want to grow our brand.
Okay, I want to talk about your social media videos a bit later on, so we'll come to that in a while. But it's not just frozen foods that you do as a group of businesses. What other areas have you sort of diversified into?
So predominantly our business is frozen foods. That's what I love. That's my passion. But we diversified into restaurants. We've still got one in Preston under the brand of Mark and Carl. It's a really nice restaurant. We started off with just burgers and pizzas. That was the brand initially. We started about 7 years ago now. And at that time, restaurants serving Italian style pizzas, stone baked pizzas, burgers, there was nothing like that. And it took off really well. And we did expand. But right now we've still got one branch in Preston, which is doing really, really well. And other part of our business is a little bit in property, but mostly food businesses that we've got. And that's what we really focus on. Food
has become a massive business growth area, 100%. Especially halal food.
Yeah.
We're now seeing the likes of major brands like KFC offering halal options. We're now seeing supermarkets offering a wide portfolio of not just frozen products, but also fresh meat, butcher products in their fridges. They have dedicated counters now for halal meat. It just seems a far cry from the days of when mothers like your mother, my mother, there was this sort of thing, oh, why would you pay for it when we can make it at home? That whole mindset seems to have changed. Would you agree?
There's two types. One is like you're talking about the restaurants. So they see the gap in the halal market and they're saying, we need a piece of that cake. So you've got the KFCs, Nando's, etc., which are all opening up as halal branches everywhere. And not only do they open up as halal branches, what they also do is KFC. They take out all the pork issues out of their shop. So it's really going for the...
So they understand the nature of halal now.
Yeah, they understand that we're not going to go in there after serving pork and there's chances of cross-contamination. So they understand that. So it's not a small decision for people like them to take to remove that type of non-halal items. Again, you go into the mainstream restaurants where you go into the 5 Michelin star dining restaurants, whatever. Even they now are starting to move to the halal dining options and you've got lots of choice. Then going on to what you're talking about, retailers. So Asda, Tesco's, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, all of them now have to stock halal. They've got dedicated freezers, dedicated cabinets for those, and they understand the need for consumers. I mean, 2001, there was 1.6 million Muslims in the UK. By 2050, we'll have about 13.5 million Muslims in the UK, which is a massive statistic.
Huge.
So, knowing these numbers, you can see why retailers, restaurants, everybody is now wants a piece of that market. I mean, as Muslims, we spend £28, £29 a week on just buying fresh meat. A normal consumer spends £12.50, £13. So you can see how much we...
Almost 2.5 times more.
Yeah, what is our...
consumption.
Yeah, it's massive. So they see that now and they want a piece of that cake.
Okay, so I'm in conversation today, this afternoon, with Nadeem Ayyub, the final guest on this year's Drive Time for Ramadan 2023. If you've got a question about entrepreneurship, drop us a text on 077 488 55055. I see you've come down with your good lady wife, Mrs. Nadeem. She's there in the background, keeping you in check, I imagine.
Yeah.
But it must be great for her, you know. She doesn't fancy cooking. She's like, oh, Nadeem, just bring some samosas back home when you're at home, right?
Well, yes, especially with the kids, with bringing some chicken burgers and sausages and burgers. Yes, so we do get a lot of that, especially in Ramzan. Elena's like always telling me, "Oh, bring some poppers and stuff like that." So
That's
yeah,
it. And the neighbours' kids are always coming over because they know they're going to get.
We do share a lot of food. Yeah, we do get a lot of texts.
Mashallah. And you very graciously brought down 2 Eid hampers for our callers.
Yeah.
So the first 2 callers to call in will each win a bumper frozen foods hamper full of frozen goodies like samosas, kebabs.
Yeah.
What have you got in there?
So we've got some kebab puffs, we've got samosas, we've got parathas, cheese parathas as well as family pack parathas, some kebabs. So we've got a nice, good selection of our range.
And folks, I've seen these hampers, so they're quite hefty, quite meaty. So the first 2 callers to call in will win an Eid hamper, frozen foods Eid hamper, courtesy of Nadeem Ayyub and Zuleika Food. So Jazakallah khair for doing that.
You're welcome.
I want to talk to you about social media. So you do these great TikTok videos, and if anyone hasn't seen them, I find them really entertaining.
Yeah.
I think they're brilliant. You know, they do what it says on the tin, but there's something about it. How do you feel about, you know, being the face of the brand or doing these videos? Because you come across really well, as if you're really enjoying it. But I also get a sense that, hello? Okay, sorry, just lost the sound there for a second. I get a sense that, you know, there's a real passion for what you do.
It is, yeah. It started actually in lockdown. So that's when we started these videos. Obviously, everybody was at home, messing around, whatever. And we said, look, let's just make a video. Started off just a little bit of fun. And to be frank, I was a little bit scared of going behind the camera and thinking, oh, what people are going to think of me. And TikTok is such a thing that you've got to be a bit live and loud. Yeah. Otherwise, you just don't get the attention. So when we started off with just with our phone, put it on the stand and just record it and literally just learn from there. And
so you didn't have a comms team or a social media team saying, hey, Nads, you need to do this?
It was me, Iram, Saima, the kids, and literally we just sat there. At that time, I'll be frank with you, wasn't even sure what I was going to cook. Someone was in the background saying, right, let's make this, let's do this, let's do this. It was a whole family. It wasn't, although you see me behind the camera, if you flipped on the other side, the whole family's there supporting me and like, right, let's do this, or take this shot again, do this. So it's massive.
Okay.
It does grow into something big, yeah.
Right. Okay. So if you want to win an Eid hamper, courtesy of Zuleika Frozen Foods, give me a call on 016 48 22086. I know Eid is tomorrow, but there is a chance for you to win some extra goodies for the dinner table tomorrow. So why not take us up on that offer? Tell us about your life as a businessman, as a Muslim entrepreneur. We know you're in frozen foods. We know you're in the food business, but what is a hugely competitive space, right?
I'm sorry?
A hugely competitive space.
Oh, massive. It's really competitive. You've got to, in this market, you've got to stand out. The reason why we came back in the market with the Zuleika brand is that we saw a massive gap. Halal food, especially the frozen sector, was just samosas, kebabs, burgers, sausages. That was it. And if you go into a shop, every single freezer was the same thing, just duplicated with another brand.
Yeah.
My vision was to change the market this time around and say, look, the generation that's now my daughter's age, or 18 to 20, 24, all of them now are working. Mm-hmm. They come home, they want something good to eat. They don't have the time to eat maybe, or cook, sorry. but they want some great food. Secondly, what we notice is that they don't only eat samosas, they go out, they eat Chinese food, Japanese food, whatever. So we want to help them, give them the products that they need. So with that in mind, we developed a range of products where we even now make a whole range of ready meals. So we have lasagnas, katsu curries, Thai green curries, all these type of food products. And they've really done successfully well is because we're giving them options that they never had before. You talked about convenience before. Again, same thing. That's what it all comes down to. We're all busy. We all work hard. We want to come home and be able to just relax sometimes. Yeah, everybody wants to cook food at home. I will say to you, everybody loves their own food, but sometimes you want that break where you want to just take something out of the chiller, the frozen cabinet, and just have some good food. So it comes back to making great food products, nutritionally good. That's what really matters to us. Second thing, what we realize is that the shopkeepers are also crying out for something. They don't want their freezers just to be duplicated. You go to Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, you won't see the same product in the whole line. So what we realize is that let's give these shopkeepers, the retailers, an option to say, right, stock these type of different products. We now have, 80 plus product SKUs in our range, which is massive for any of our competitors won't come near us. So that was really important to us. Manufacturing in the UK, which is key. A lot of suppliers actually import from abroad. And our model was manufacture here in the UK. So now we have got 2 factories in the space of 2 years. We've got 2 factories in Preston where we manufacture most of our products only in one of those 2 factories. And that's also helped us. As you know, when COVID came in, supply was really hard to get of.
Yeah.
We were in a fortunate position that we had the 2 factories. We could manufacture and supply our customers in that time. So that was really important as well. So all these things are really key into making a brand, making your business strong and growing it.
As a business and as a Muslim business, what are the differences in when you're negotiating with a well-known supermarket brand like Sainsbury's or Asda compared to a lesser-known but equally important supermarket like Pack Foods, for example? Is there a difference in how you negotiate? Are they obviously the bigger supermarkets have bigger buying power, so they'll try and drive you down on price. But what are the sort of, are there any differences when you're...
See, one thing is that the Asian market has changed drastically. Like you mentioned, Park Foods.
In what sense? Give us some examples.
So Park Foods, brilliant guys, Irfhan and the team, they're absolutely amazing, you know. And what they've done is no longer now was it just one corner shop.
Yeah.
They are become big retailers now. Worldwide Foods, Adil and the team that's behind them, they're opening really great stores, and they are now competing with the retailers. You walk into their new store in Leeds Road, amazing. You would think that you're walking into a Waitrose. Forget going into Asda. You'd think you're walking into a Waitrose.
So premium outlet.
Yeah, beautiful outlet. You know, you'd love going in there, because what we also found when I was speaking to Adil and the team there, what they found is that the younger generation, like you probably know with your kids, they hate speaking to other adults, speaking to other people.
They can't communicate.
They can't. When we go to restaurants, they don't want to save their own order. We have to do that for them. They want to go into places that are clean, tidy, nice. And these young lads that are now coming in and taking over their father's businesses are really stepping up. And there's an article just came out in the Grocer a few months ago where consumers are now moving from retailers and actually going back to independents, and the independent markets are getting stronger and stronger, whereas it changed a little while ago.
Why is that, do you think?
Because
the experience.
We now, in the retailers, what we found is that they've got great products. They've got the core products. So they'll have the rice, the atta and what have you. They'll have those products, and they'll have it at really good promotional prices. But they don't have the range that our independent stores now have. So independent stores, you can pick up whatever you want. Clean, tidy stores, great parking. They're ticking all the boxes now. And they're opening also in areas where we never used to find stores. So in smaller areas where you had to drive 10 miles to go to a store or whatever. Now, all our boys now who are coming into the market are really savvy, know what they're doing, and opening great stores where you enjoy going shopping now. Okay, so if you've got a text or a comment for our entrepreneur this afternoon, or if you'd like to win one of 2 hampers, you can either text me or call me on 0116 4822086 or text on 077 488 55055. Honestly, folks, these hampers are amazing.
perfect for your Eid feast, either tomorrow or Saturday. So get in touch now. The first 2 people to either text or call will win that hamper. And I'm talking to Nadeem Ayyub, the director of Rockcliffe Group, aka Zuleika Frozen Foods, and others, talking about his life as a Muslim businessman. How big is that space then for halal frozen foods? I mean, do you know, have you got any figures around what that market is worth?
The halal market it's just, genuinely we're talking in a few billion pounds sales altogether, because we don't think just from the perspective of just samosas, kebabs. You know, you've got your whole restaurant businesses, you've got your food service sector. The whole business is really, really big. And going into it, it's not as daunting as it seems. You know, if somebody wants to set up something and thinks, oh, how do I get into Asda? How do I get into Tesco and whatever? Going into it, it's see, what I've learned is that you go to see a buyer and you're very nervous. How are they going to talk to you? What do I say? And all this kind of stuff. But when you start talking to them, you realize it's just another person on the other side of the desk.
Yeah.
All you're doing is just talking to them. And a buyer's job in the end is to buy. So when you're sat in front of them, if you've got the right products, right options and what have you got, they're interested and they want to buy your products.
And a good product always speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It does. So somebody who wants to get into this business and wants to say, how do I do it? What do I do? Believe me, the buyers are really good. They're not, you know, the old type where you're asking me before, how is it to deal with them and what have you. It's not as daunting as people think it is. The difficult bit is getting into the door. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It is extremely hard.
Getting their attention, right?
Getting their attention, talking to them, getting them. But once you're there and you start talking to them, they want to deal with you as well. And that's a great side of the business.
Okay, so we've had a text come in. Assalamu alaikum, just got in my car listening in. It's great to listen to the Drive Time show. Thank you, whoever that is. If you give me your name on that text, then you could be in the running to win one of the 2 Eid hampers that we got. So whoever that is, brother or sister, thank you for tuning in. Always a pleasure to have you on. Let me know your name and you can win an Eid hamper. So Nadeem, as a businessman, what is the biggest thing you've learnt, like whether it's part of, you know, something where it didn't work out quite as well as you hoped, or where you've won something? What is the biggest thing you've learned that you could share with our listeners?
You're not always right, and you don't know everything. So what I've found is that you've got to listen to your team. I mean, final decision is yours. You've got to make that final decision and you've got to stick by that. But what I've found is that at first when I started, I was very like, you've got to do it my way. And as I've matured and got older and whatever, I realized, damn, I'm not right all the time. And see what happens, because we become tunnel vision, and you think, right, this is what I've got to do. This is the way it's done. This is the way, and things change and move on. And when I have a great team with me, you know, my team is like Sujan, who runs all our factory, Zubair, as you know, who is operations, Shazan, my brother. We've got a team, Ataf, who is our main sales rep. Amazing guy. Although him also, somebody like him has also taught me a lot, how going into the stores, talking to the shopkeepers, and you learn a lot from the team around you. So what I would say is, as a director, as a business, you've got to listen to your team and understand where they're coming from. And that makes a big difference and helps you grow your business more. Because if you don't, then you'll make mistakes and then you'll learn the hard way. But I always say listen to them.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Riaz Khan, mashallah, brilliant initiative. And what advice would you give to any young person who wants to start? That just beat me there. I was going to ask that same question. Thanks, Riaz. Riaz, did you send the text before? If you did, then you can have one of the Eid hampers. But the question is, mashallah, tijara, doing business, is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and doing mashwara, taking consultation, is also a big sunnah, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take advice from his sahabas, and you've just demonstrated that perfectly. What advice would you give to our up and coming entrepreneurs? Because alhamdulillah, one second, I've got another coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Maulana's daughter here. How do you get a hamper? So I know who that is, so I'll give you a hamper as well. So the hampers are gone now. Okay. Too late, right? So we've got rid of the hampers. What advice would you give? Because mashallah, we as a community, we're very entrepreneurial. We have that business spirit, whether it's buying and selling crisp packets in the school playground to doing what you do. What advice would you give to our youngsters listening in?
Look, I would say if you first two things is that, first of all, if you've got an idea and you want to go on out and explore the idea and become a business person, wherever, I would really encourage it, go for it. Because a lot of us are scared of doing it. What will happen? What if? Whatever. And especially when you're young, in your 20s.
Take that risk, right? Take the plunge.
I would take that risk, absolutely. I mean, I did it when I was young. You will fall, I guarantee you. There are a few of us who just straight rock it, but some of us will fall, and it takes time. Build a brand, build whatever business that you want to get into.
That's a really important. Sorry to cut you off there, but that's a really important point, because a lot of people, like you see on social media, think it's just easy.
Oh, it's difficult.
But building a business, you're going to take knockbacks. You're going to be on the edge when it comes to, have I got enough money to pay the bills for next month, sort of thing. But with that, you learn great lessons, and the message, I think, is keep going. Right?
100%.
Just keep going.
100%. Look, we started Zuleika only 2 years ago now. Our first 2 years were hard. Consumers and...
But you were quite well known with your previous brands, though, weren't you?
Yeah, but the part of building a brand from scratch, unfortunately with me, is like I like to run before I walk. And Iram will tell you this all the time. It's like she tries to pull me back. She controls me so much, which is great, which brings me down to earth. But the thing is that to grow as fast as we wanted to do, we had to take risks. We had to go out and develop something, because we were trying to do something that wasn't available in the market at the time. You know, we wanted to go and change the market. So that does take time and risks.
So on that, what different foods are you offering right now that you that has not been previously available? You mentioned the katsu curry, which, you know, I love katsu curry. I think that's fantastic. And getting a halal katsu curry is very difficult. But how are you diversifying your range?
So at the moment, when you, like I mentioned before, is that majority of the range is just samosas, kebabs, parathas. So what we want to get into the market is genuinely, like you said right at the beginning, is that replicate whatever our English friends are eating. We want to be able to go into a store and say, if I want to eat a sausage roll, halal sausage roll, there you are. If I want to eat a steak and kidney pie, whatever it is, there you are. We should have halal options for everything that we are. Because my kids now mix with English kids, Asian kids. We're all mixed. They're all friends together now.
As we should, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
When I was younger, admittedly, 99% of my friends were Asian.
See, that's a stark contrast to me, because when I was younger, growing up in a council estate here in Leicester, 99% of my friends were not brown, were not Asian.
No, they're not. Okay.
They were either, you know, from African Caribbean backgrounds,
Yeah.
or English backgrounds, and I was the only Muslim in the whole school. So for me, that notion of wanting to be accepted by them, part of it was eating the same things that they were eating.
Yeah, 100%. When we first developed sausages, this is many years ago, when we first developed sausages, people didn't believe they were halal. You know, they thought, how can sausage be halal? But it can be. It's just meat. That's all it is, simple. But the idea of that chicken nuggets when we first launched, all these type of products, people were shocked. Like, whoa. I mean, people are probably listening now thinking, what's he talking about? But in those days, there was nothing available, you know. So anything that you want to do now, you've got to go and change the market. You've got to go and develop
Disrupt
products.
it, yeah.
You're asking, you know, ideas, some youngster who wants to start a business. Again, don't just go out there and copy what's there and try to sell it cheaper. That's just a race to the bottom. What I would say is go out there and develop a product that is missing in the market. Find a gap.
And there's always a gap, right?
100%. There's always a gap. There always is. And the more you start working into it, and the more you start developing your products, and you realize and you start speaking to people, you think, oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we get into this? And that's how you grow your business.
Okay, so we're getting some more text coming in. Your character really helps in business. People look at integrity, interaction, and interesting products. You'd agree with that?
100%. When we came back...
Because the old saying, people by people first.
100%. We wouldn't have grown Zuleika as fast as we have if we never knew the people that we're on. A lot of the times when I went into stores, oh, Nads, you're back. Brilliant. You know, what are you doing? We showed them, 100% Nads, well, I'll support you. You've done well with us before. Let's do it again. So your reputation does help in the market. If you've already been in the market, people can trust you. That's it. It's like you can always sell a bad product once. If you've got a great product and your consumers are happy with it and they're repeatedly buying it, who won't buy business for? Who won't do business with you?
And I suppose their feedback is critical for developing and evolving as a business.
Without a doubt. The shopkeepers, the retailers, they definitely need to vouch for you. Without that, you can't grow your business.
Brilliant. So another text coming, great business. Thank you for changing the landscape of halal food. Wow, that's a big statement to make, mashallah. So that's incredible stuff. I want to talk to you a bit about where we are right now. So obviously Muslims, for whatever reason, are always in the media, whether it's for business reasons, political reasons, whatever it might be. Do you think it's inevitable that, because sometimes I go around, right, and if I go to somewhere in Leicester where there is no halal option, I'm thinking, these guys are missing out here, because we tend to spend a bit more than your average consumer, right?
100%.
Do you think it's inevitable that a lot of the mainstream high street brands, food brands that is, are going to offer a halal option? Because we're seeing them often vegan options, right? The vegan food market is growing. Because it's not just a lifestyle, but it's money on the bottom line. Let's not be coy about it. It's about money.
Yeah.
We recently had Popeye's Chicken open up here in Leicester.
Oh, okay.
There were queues, like literally 2-3 hour queues just to get a chicken burger.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a matter of time before McDonald's or Pizza Hut becomes fully with halal options?
Without a doubt, it's not going to take long at all now, because once you see the likes of KFC taking halal on board and what have you, and let's be frank, is that taste-wise or anything for a non-Muslim consumer won't even know the difference.
They won't, no.
They won't even know the difference. They won't even taste it, whatever. Okay, there's a few people who don't like the idea of eating halal. That's fine. But majority of people who are out there genuinely will eat halal happily. Non-Muslims, they'll eat halal happily. So I just think that it's just a growing market. Like I said, we're going to be 13 point something million Muslims in the UK in a few years. So they've got, I wouldn't say no choice, but it's a no-brainer. You've got to go out there.
It makes sound economic,
without a doubt,
advice to.
Yeah, we were just parked up in a hotel a month or two ago, and we stopped up there, went upstairs to eat, and they're serving halal food, halal pizzas and everything in the restaurant. So it's just a matter of time now until we become more and more halal here.
Okay, so we already answered that question. Mashallah, brilliant initiative. What advice would you give to? Yeah, we've done that one. We've got about 12 minutes left of today's. I'm loving Islam's just listening. Mashallah, amazing show today. I'm loving how the gap in the market is being filled, and that's from Maria. Do you know Maria?
I don't know.
Well, thank you for that question, Maria. But
if you've got any ideas, please contact us through our social media.
I'm loving how the gap. I mean, I've noticed, right, that people from my generation and slightly younger, and they become very savvy. They become very sophisticated with their tastes. They're demanding quality when they go out,
without doubt.
And we're seeing that in the reflection of what businesses are offering.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think that's come about?
I think because of, I wouldn't say it's just expendable income or whatever, but it's like I said before, is that we are now eating out far more than we used to. And we do take granted now, like when we used to go out as kids, it was a treat. When
Absolutely.
Dad, Mom and Dad took us out, we're going out to eat. Now it's taken as granted. So everybody's taste level.
Yeah, kids, if you're listening, stop it, right? Can't afford it.
No, we used to. It was a treat. We'd go to the kebab shop and Mom and Dad would get us the kebabs and whatever. Now it's changed. And the level of restaurants that are out there, each one that's coming out now is getting better than the last one, better than the next one, better than the next one. So our own expectations are rising with those. So gone are days where we had small corner takeaways and what have you, that's where we used to eat. Now we only eat smash burgers or gourmet burgers and what have you. So all our taste buds are getting stronger and better and what have you. And
our palate has developed, hasn't it?
Without a doubt. We're exploring more food as well. And we travel so much now, whereas we never used to before.
We've got a halal food festival coming up in Birmingham next month.
Yeah.
And, 10 years ago, that would have been unheard of.
100%, yeah.
But it just goes to show the number of businesses out there. They're all doing different things.
You look at not only in the halal food that you go there, when you go to visit these halal food shows, and there's so many of them now throughout the year, and the stalls that are there, serving things like brisket, slow cooked beef and steaks and
Stop it, Nadeem. Stop it.
We would never see that kind of food, would we?
But that's the here where we are in Leicester, where the station is. 20 years ago, this road was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I mean unrecognizable because we had a good balance of businesses that offered a variety of services. Now the majority, and alhamdulillah, I'm not complaining, it's mainly food dominated
Yeah.
businesses. And they are offering things like brisket, Indo-Chinese fusion,
Yeah.
Arabic foods, Lebanese foods, those sorts of things. And I think we as Muslim we like that. We want something a bit different because my kids will say, "Oh, I don't want Korean chapati anymore now."
No, it's
done with
changing.
that. And we're pushing ourselves to offer something different. So the palette has definitely changed, and obviously you're going to be doing something to reflect that, right?
Yeah. So our job is to keep an eye on the market, what's happening. So we have focus groups. We go out, do testings in the market to understand what the consumer is always wanting. So for us, being such a young company, we're still developing, and we want to understand from our consumers, what do you need? What are your shortcomings? What do you say that? So a lot of people have come up to us and say, we want snacks, we want wraps, for example. We want meal on the go so we can take it to lunch. We want pot noodles and this type of stuff, all the halal versions. And so there's a massive list that's got to come. But as a business, we've got to do it slowly. We can't just go and develop everything in one go.
Yeah.
We've got to take it in stages and do one.
And give what the consumers want.
Yes, we've got to do it in phases.
Right, salams, brother Irfan. We'll miss listening to you on Drive Time. We have learnt a lot from all of your shows. Every single guest has been fantastic. And that's from sisters Aisha and Safia, where you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for supporting us. And Aisha, you were the favourite guest this year. So, Eid Mubarak, Uncle Irfan. Uncle? Are you calling me Uncle? What's going on? Uncle Irfan, brother Nadeem, been great hearing you through this Ramadan. Thank you, Jazakumullah khair. I am, of course, in conversation with Nadeem Ayyub, Muslim mogul, entrepreneur, supremo, talking about his life in business. If you've got a comment or text, drop us a text on 077 488 55055. The two hampers have gone. Riaz Khan and Maulana Muhammad Lahair's daughter, you both won the Eid hamper, so come and collect it from the studios in Evington Road before they start to defrost.
So they are in insulated packs with ice.
Yeah,
so you'll last for the
I'll
day.
just tease, so the last, but make sure you get them before. If you don't claim them, I'm going to take them, definitely.
Yeah.
You mentioned you stepped away from the business for a while. What was that like, and what was it like coming back?
So when we stepped away, it wasn't an easy decision. I just felt like the market wasn't going in the direction that I wanted to do, so I took some time off.
Bit burnout, was it?
Yeah, I just wanted to just relax a little bit. Didn't relax for long, only about 6 months. That's all.
Until Iram said, you need to do something now, go on.
Yeah, so we started again in that 6 months I had off, took some time off, relaxed. And we just thought, okay, what should we do? And to be fair, we weren't going to always come back into the halal frozen business. We were debating what to do, what should we do? Should we relax?
Did you miss it?
Yeah, you'd be surprised in talk, because I love the interaction with my customers, the day to day.
It's what you know, right?
Yeah. One thing I'm really passionate about is product development. I really like doing that. I really enjoy getting...
Tell us a bit about that. So when you're making your recipes and you're formulating the recipes, how much of an input do you have? What's that process like?
So it starts off with from our focus group. So we decide what we do first. I'll go in the market and research what products need making. We have our ideas.
Look, if you're looking for a chief taster,
Yeah.
just saying. Okay,
Okay.
I will happily taste all your products, no problem.
Yes. So we get the ideas of what needs to develop, because not always what you think will sell.
Yes.
You've got to do some market research, understand.
And taste is subjective, isn't it?
100%. It's like I said, like I said about the steaks things, everybody likes them different cooked. So we go out, get the market, get the feedback, come into the kitchens, and then we have our own chefs who will develop all our products. We'll have a tasting sessions, and this takes months. It's not a matter of, okay, I want to do, pita wrap or whatever it is, and we'd launch it. It takes months of development, and the work that goes behind it takes time. So yeah, it's a big team of us, about 8-9 of us, who will sit in the kitchen eating away every few days, and everybody will have their topics. Too much spice, too much salt, needs this, and it takes time. And then once you've decided what the product is, send it off for nutritional testings, make sure it hits all the traffic lights that you want to hit. Then the actual work of designing the packs and what have you, that starts. So it's a really long chain to decide, from deciding what you want to do to final product.
So consumers are becoming more and more switched on when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah.
And traditionally, the Asian diet, or the South, the South Asian diet hasn't been the most nutritious.
No.
If you look at, what we eat and the amount of oil, salt and sugar in our foods. How important is that to you when you're obviously it's very important, but has that changed the way you are developing products now? Is nutrition higher up the list of okay, it must be, we can't exceed this level of fat or this level of salt?
So we do have levels of what we want to cater for per 100 grams of calories and what have you. But see, it's a balance. So we've got to also make sure that the product tastes as good as a consumer wants, because what we are replicating is somebody cooking at home. So in that sense, it's really important for us is that taste is number one, followed by nutritionals. Cost is really important as well. How much is the consumer going to pay for that? So it's no point making something the very, very, very best with using premium quality, and it turns out to be a £10 kebab. So it's got to be a great product, taste, and hit the right pricing point.
Affordable. That especially in today's climate,
it's
right?
Really important that you've got to have your products that hit the right price point as well for the consumer. That is really key.
Okay, brilliant. Another message coming in. Salam, Drive Time is a very good show. Thank you, Brother Ahmed Patel. Jazakumullah khair. We've got Zed listening in very intently. Zed, who you met earlier on, Nadeem, is one of Leicester's, most prominent businessmen, Muslim businessmen, might I add. And I think has done must have done some sort of business with you guys because of the nature of the business that he does. But that's great. So you step back into, you took some time out, you stepped back into the frozen foods. You think you're right, great, like putting an old pair of slippers back on.
Believe it or not, it was a lot harder the second time round.
Was it? Did you feel like you had something to prove?
Yeah, it was part of it was everybody expects more of me now because he's done it before. Let's see what he does. And when we started off the second time, it was really hard because you've got expectations to reach. Second thing is that you wanna in your mind you wanna grow fast. You wanna get back to where you were before really quickly. So
did you think it wouldn't take that long? Were you a bit not naive?
Realistically, I thought it would take about 5 years, but alhamdulillah, we've managed to get there in about 2 years.
Okay.
So, and that's part of, brutally honest, is the team that I've got with me. I mean, the guys that I've got behind me, family as well, who's supporting me. I mean, I'll come home and in my head and we'll see it all the time and she'll support me in that sense. And we have got that stress to keep growing. So I guess that way, sometimes the expectations on your shoulder are just weighing you down. But with a great team, we have achieved it.
Okay, brilliant. So we're almost coming to the end of the program today. Thank you once again for coming all the way from Preston. I am absolutely honoured and delighted that you have. What is the last message you would like to leave with our listeners?
My last message to you guys would be, look, everybody has dreams and wants to go out and fulfill them. And I would really encourage you to go out and really fulfill your potential. I mean, like Zed and I was talking before, how he was saying he was helping the young people to grow this market. And young people right now who want to get out there and do something, just do it.
Just do it.
You've got it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And remember, medium heat, fry until golden brown, right?
That's the one, yes.
Okay, brilliant. Listen, thank you so much for coming today, Nadeem. I wish you and the family Eid Mubarak in advance and a safe trip back home. Please come and visit us again next time, inshallah, and stay in touch with us. I want to take a moment right now just to thank everybody at Ramadan Radio, Sister Sabiha, Brother Akil, Sister Hajra, Zed, the whole team, Jusab, everyone. You've made it a fantastic year for us for Drive Time. It's been incredible hard work, and thank you, listeners. Without you guys, your support, absolutely incredible. I love you all. Thank you so much for supporting us. Keep supporting Ramadan FM. It's an important part of the community, and we need more people to get involved. I want to thank all of my guests. I can't name you all. I can't remember them all, but they are on my Instagram. Nadeem, Khalil, we had Azhar Khan, Mohammed Awais, we had Super Saf, we had Anisa Grams, we had Dr. Zobi Islam. Of course, my favorite guest, Aisha Sidat. We had Richard Mitchell from the NHS. We had Gina Richards. I'm just trying to think now of all the other guests I had, but you know who you are. You all did a fantastic. Zara Muhammad as well. Yes, Muslim Council of Britain. She was brilliant. And I want to take this moment just to thank you all. Thank you so much. It's been incredible hard work, but very rewarding. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the programs as much as I have had presenting them and talking to our inspiring, wonderful guests from all walks of life doing some amazing things. And I hope you felt inspired by listening to their stories. And as Brother Nadeem just said, if you've got an idea, if you've got a passion, you've got a vision, follow that dream, make it happen. There are people in the community who will support you, so you're not alone. Just get out there and do it, inshallah. So that's it. The final word from me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eid Mubarak to each and every one of you. May your biryanis be blessed and your kebabs crispy. Take care until the next time. Assalamu alaikum.